In the last lecture, we covered step 3, which was to choose or create a blog post to link back to. Now that you've got that done and you're ready to write your answer, what we want to look at is step 4 in the process. And after this step 4, it's really 5, 6, and 7. These are very easy, quick steps. So this is the last, I think, big chunky lecture. And then we're really going to finish out the course pretty quickly. So let's start with this this point here, because it is an important step to really structure your content, the answers that you post on Quora in a certain way to really maximize those clicks and get people to read the posts first of all, and then get people to click through back to your website. Now, I'm going to show you how I structure my posts and the thinking that I have around this through this example here. People structure posts in different ways. You might hear different advice. You might see other top writers in your category write different ways, and feel free to use that if you want. Whatever really works. I'm just going to share with you what works for me, what I feel comfortable doing, and also I think these are general good copywriting principles that you can really apply to anything. It could even be a blog post. So let's start at the start. Context. You really want to answer the question asked. So instead of just launching into maybe promoting yourself, you really want to try and get the language and the start of your answer referring back to the question. So here we go. How many hours does it take to become Google AdWords certified? And what I say is you'll need a strategy, but then the second line says I got it in 2 days. So I am answering the question very early on in my answer. So I think that is key, that you, when you're thinking about your posts, really do read the question. It's like the old saying that they say when you're taking exams, read the question, read the question, read the question, because if you want to write a good answer, you need to be answering the question. Second point now, the headline. Really, this is the same copywriting principle anywhere, on Twitter, on Facebook, on email marketing. You really need to write an engaging headline that is going to get people to read further. The whole point of a headline, or the first sentence in your post, is to get people to read the rest of the post. Same with a subject line in an email. The whole point of the subject line in an email is to get people to open it and then read the rest of the post. So put a little bit of thinking into this. You can see my example here is you'll need to have an exam strategy to get it done quickly. So they know they need a strategy, but I haven't told them what the strategy is, and that's why they have to read the post to really find that out. Now the next point is to add relevant images and videos into your Quora posts. So you can see here that I've added an image. Nobody else here in their answers have added an image. So this gives me an immediate advantage when people are scrolling through. And also if I have followers, when they look at essentially their news feeds, if they can see an eye-catching image like this, then there's much better chance that they're actually going to click through and read the post. Now, to create images, one tool I would recommend is canva.com. This is a free tool. You can sign in with Facebook or Quora or Google. I've already got an account, so I'm just going to sign in, and you can see that I've created an image here for my Quora post. This is the one that I've used here. And essentially what I've done to design this is just come to create a design. Then I've come down to blog title here to find a dimension that's going to work on Quora. And what they have got here is a load of templates that you can actually use straight away, or you can design one from scratch yourself, just using this canvas and the dimensions as a starting point. So for this answer here, I actually just created this myself. I searched for gear icon, and you can see I just dragged that in. Then you can add in some text. You can just drag that in, and essentially this is a really great tool for just making images, and it's perfect for really your questions on Quora. Now, moving on to the next point, make it personal. Yeah. So I think if you can use personal pronouns in your questions like I, me, you, it just makes it sound a little bit more personal and not so salesy. So coming back to my question here, I got the exam. You'll need, Here's 3 tips to cut down your study time. You need, not many people know. So I'm trying to keep it casual, kind of friendly, like it was a conversation. Next thing to do is really back up your points, link out to helpful resources. So here's an example, I have, you can link out to the Google Help Center. What else have I said here? I got the Google AdWords certification. So there's a link out to more information about it. That's kind of backing up what I'm saying. So include those references and links because they do jump out in the posts. You can see they've got a good bright link color. And also I think if people are scanning answers, they see these links, no links here, no links here, no links here, no links here. They're going to read the answer that has the links because that's obviously the most helpful. Now moving on, make it easy to read. So avoid big chunks of text, use bold, italics, bullet points to format your answers. So if you were reading this question, you can look at my answer here and now you can see the other questions here in the post. Now, it's just going to be harder naturally for you to read that quickly because it's one chunk of text. So really break it up, use bold, italics, bullet points, and that's really, you can see that I've done that there. And personally, I think that makes it easier to read and I think it's just more helpful for people. Now, add a custom bio for each question. So earlier on in the course, we looked at your bio, which is here. And we've set that up earlier. That will remain the same, but what you can actually do is add a custom bio when you answer each question. So you can see here that I've changed my bio to achieve the Google AdWords certification in 2 days. So if people are reading the answers, they can see who I am and why I'm really an authority on this topic. Now, if I look at let me show you how you edit this first. When you actually post the question, you will get the opportunity to add a custom bio. And you can see here that I could change that or edit that now as I want. But as soon as you post your question, that will just pop up and you can edit it. For this question, you can see I'm achieved the Google AdWords certification in 2 days. Let me show you my bio for some other posts that I've made. Here you can see I've just left it as my standard bio. Maybe it'd be good for me to make that more relevant. Here I've answered a question about startups. I worked at a failed startup. Moving further down, I had some questions here about a totally different topic, about this new product that I used in my experience. I was a first-time user, blown away by the results. So you can see that you can make this a little bit more personal, friendly, and show why you are a credible person to answer the question. Now, what not to do. You don't want to use the identical text to answer the same questions. So I've seen examples of, you find a question and someone will just paste the same answer 25 out of 33 times. What you can see that I've done here is using the rapid fire strategy. I found a lot of questions that were about marketing plans and they were similar. They all had similar answers. I could have just used the same answer again and again, but I didn't want to make it look like I was just spamming them. So what I've done is these are 2 or 3 very simple similar questions. But what I have done is tried to make it slightly different. So what you can see here is that essentially this is the exact same answer, but I've changed the first headline, linked it back to the question. So I always look out for these 5 key components. What are the key components? I've also changed the image using Canva, but essentially this is the same answer that I've put here. I would recommend these 5 steps. I have a different image. It's a slightly different answer, but it's the same essentially, but it looks different. And if people are looking through my profile or they're looking at a number of questions in that particular topic, it doesn't seem like I'm just spamming it and using identical text across multiple questions. So what I'd recommend is if you have a blog post with a number of images in it, try and pick 1 or 2 images or 3-4 images and use them across your different answers, so it doesn't just look like you're using identical answers. And also maybe change the headline, make it relevant to the question, and essentially that is the tip. So that's particularly relevant if you're using the rapid fire strategy and answering a lot of similar posts that are all going to link back to one blog post. That was step 4. I know there was a lot of information in there, but come back and look at this as a guide. And once again, find your own rhythm, find whatever works for you, and you're going to get fantastic results. Now, the 5th out of the 7 steps, this is a very quick one. Promote your Quora answers. This is where I also give the opportunity where I'm going to promote your answers to my email list. So stay tuned for the next lecture.